What's up? I'm Naomi.
I'm back. Welcome to another episode of Free Flow.
So, we're gonna be talking about stuff that, that links us and creates connection.
Yeah, that's right.
One of the things that I can say is this board behind us, which created connection too. And I did this part, he did the rest.
You did that part as well.
Yeah, that part a bit. We did a collaboration, and he changed this. I love the idea of this.
Oh, actually, I haven't introduced you yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because this is Naomi.
Hi.
Also known as Naomoooooo.
Wow. Yeah. Funny story because you did a spelling error, and then you were like, "Okay, Naomoooooo is a new thing."
I think it's funny.
Yeah, yeah.
I really like it. I like the Naomoooooo.
The first person in my life to call me that, but it works. It's new. It's different.
What do you reckon other names would be? Like if I would call you something else.
If you were to call me something else, Naomes.
Gnomes? Gnomes?
Gnomes. That's what some of my friends call me.
Mm-hmm.
In high
But
school.
that's a quiet G. That's a silent G.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's gnomes.
Yeah,
I
gnomes.
see.
And NeiNei.
NeiNei sounds a bit. It's a song. I remember a song like NeiNei thing.
I think it describes their personality more than mine,
Okay.
which is also cool.
What do you mean?
When someone calls me NeiNei,
Yeah.
I feel like a NeiNei, you know? But actually, like it's just a reflection on how they are as a person to even come up.
They
with
could
it.
call you Mimi as well.
Yeah,
I could call you Momo.
Yeah, I've had someone call me
It's
Mimi.
like MiMiMoMo.
I've had someone call me Mimi. Actually, funny
Yeah.
story. I was like only one person, and I was kind of like, why? And I didn't understand at first. And then, basically, all the other nicknames were too average or normal for him, so he decided to call me Mimi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Mimi is pretty average, I think.
Yeah, is it?
Like it's.
It was my first.
Well, it's very catchy. Mimi. Just Mimi.
So back then, when my sister and I would come back from school, there'd be this cat downstairs of our block, and we literally named the cat Mimi.
Yeah.
So that's why when someone called me Mimi, I thought I was like the cat. I was like, okay, that's new. It's okay to be open to new experiences.
But I think names matters a lot. Because I was in Melbourne a couple of weeks ago for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to this community. It's just a community that does a lot of art and community living. So rent is free. No, rent is not free. Rent is cheap. Food is free because they go dumpster diving. Do you know what dumpster diving is?
Trying to recall exactly, but they basically get their food from like restaurants and places that threw out their food that's like going to go bad but not bad yet, so it's still edible.
Yeah.
Right?
So they would go in. No, I mean it doesn't matter where. Like,
Oh, okay,
they would just
anywhere.
get any dumpster.
Oh wow.
But the biggest dumpsters they would go to are from supermarkets.
Yeah.
They would dive into the dumpsters, literally, collect stuff from the bottom. The best bits are at the bottom from supermarkets, because you know how supermarkets would buy stock
Yeah.
and they want to clear stuff that's old,
Mm.
but some of them are really good stuff. They're not even spoiled yet, but it gets out in the trash.
Yeah. How come it's at the bottom?
Because they don't want people to get it.
Oh yeah?
They don't want people to pick it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few reasons for it. One would be they don't want people just to pick it up, because then people won't go to the shops. The second thing,
True.
I think the second point would kind of be health and safety,
Yeah.
because you don't know what's in there, what's in the bins.
Yeah.
So if people take it and they get sick, who's gonna take responsibility? Right? So there's a few different ways of looking at it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
For some people think that these companies that just don't want us to get free stuff, right? But then if you look at health and safety regulation. It's like, well, it's not hygienic.
Yeah.
Rats has been in there, flies. You don't know what has been in there.
I actually have this a friend who was talking to me about an idea that he had with, especially in Singapore, how apparently restaurants and bars, the amount of foods that they throw out is like over 50% of what they actually buy, because there's always going to be waste. Sometimes it's like everything is gone, but often and mostly the majority of the case is 50% gets thrown out. So he had this idea, if he were to create like this app or this platform where people from like the supermarkets itself and restaurants could bring their foods that are about to go to waste to this platform or app to then sell the food for like 1/3 or 1/4 of the price. And yes, it might be more risky, but yet it's not bad food. It's like, it's still edible food, and sometimes it's even like, especially like hotel buffets, they have high class food. What do they do with everything?
That's true.
It literally gets thrown out. So he did like a lot of research and found out that it's actually the case. And then he was thinking about starting this platform/app or whatever idea it is, or website, where people can actually buy their foods from these places that are throwing it out, and it's with like a delivery service, or they come pick it up, and it's like 1/4 of the price or even less, or maybe 1/3 or something.
At least they're getting something back as well.
Yeah, and it's like, it's all about sustainability as well, and you're just helping the community, not just make everything go to waste.
I think that's the biggest thing, sustainability.
Yeah.
Like a lot of stuff that has been going on is not very sustainable in today's culture. That's why there's a lot of vegan ideas. People going vegan because of ethical reasons, because of sustainability issues. Some people do it for ethical reasons, like cruelty to animals. They don't want to have animals. Some people do it because it's not sustainable for the environment. Like if you rear an animal, it takes a lot more, what's that called?
Resources,
Yes,
water, yeah.
That's right. And
actually, I thought about becoming vegan, and for me, I thought about it because I'm right now vegetarian.
Okay.
And I mean,
transitioning.
Slowly. The thing is, for me, none of these were actually the main factor. So I went to India for a month, and the city I went to, Rishikesh, the whole city was vegetarian. And then when I was there, I didn't even realize that my nutrition and all my protein intakes and all that was actually completely covered. Like, I felt the fittest I was in my entire life. And also, I was eating 3 meals a day that were completely vegetarian, and even the cafes were mostly vegan. So I had no idea, I wasn't really that conscious about it until I came back to Singapore and I wanted to eat like my favorite dish, which is butter chicken and cheese naan. So I ordered that, and then I took a bite of the chicken and I just felt
sick.
No, not sick. I just felt like I suddenly didn't need it anymore. And it was weird because butter chicken is my favorite dish ever. And
What's
when
there not to like?
Yeah, exactly. And I would always be so excited, butter chicken after school, or butter chicken family outing occasion, let's go eat Indian food, and like paneer paneer, which is still my fave. But when I ate this piece of chicken, I was trying to like eat it and chew it, and I was like, why something changed within me? I don't understand. I tried eating another piece, and I was like, why do I not enjoy this anymore? And then I tried eating another, and I was like, okay, I have to stop. I think I can't eat meat anymore. And it was really something that just happened. And it was nothing I ever thought about and never thought would actually, like, I never thought I'd be vegetarian after India. And I wasn't, like, after a while I was still eating fish because I went traveling, and sometimes it's really, really hard in specific places where you need to eat. Like, it's very, like, they were like, do you want lettuce? Like, that's it. Like, yeah, so I felt like, okay, no, I need to eat something. So
the hamburgers are patties of meat with vegetables in the middle, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's why
staple food is not rice but meat.
Yeah.
Served with rice as a side.
Oh my god. But yeah, so that's why, like, for me it was just, I don't know, a shift in identity. And then I realized that, okay, this is actually gonna happen. And I always said before I want to be vegetarian, but it would never happen. But then it just did, and my family like laughed at me. They thought I was joking, and they did for a long time until they realized like this is actually something that has changed within me, and now it's been nearly a year.
So it's like you don't feel like you need it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's not like, oh, this is disgusting or anything. It's just, oh, I don't need it.
Yeah, I just feel like my body doesn't need it. I just in general became very conscious about my body. And I think another factor was I tried analyzing it. I was like, why did this happen? Like, people were asking me, like, so are you trying to be healthier? I'm like, no, I still eat shit. Like, you can still eat shit when you're not eating meat. Like, it's not even the same factor. But then they were like, so are you doing it because you feel bad of the animals or resource? I'm like, no. Like,
Don't feel
yes,
like it.
I just feel like I don't need it. And then I thought about it, and in Rishikesh, I realized that a lot of the animals there were free, because I was in the Himalaya mountain for a month, and the cows there are sacred. The chickens were free. I saw literally piglets running around like with their family.
Just like pets
everywhere, and they're free there. And that's when I realized like they're part of my community. Like, how could I ever eat them? It's like eating a human. And that's when I realized they're part of like this family, and it's weird if I were to suddenly from one day be seeing them
it's like eating
free.
your own children.
Yeah.
You wouldn't eat your own children. Why would
Yeah.
you eat pigs?
Yeah, and that's
Piglets.
why it was just like, okay, I guess this happened.
I see.
Ta-da!
I think it's quite interesting because when I was studying in Perth and I was living at home, I would eat less meat just because I'm lazy. I think meat's hard to prepare.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't think I've ever prepared meat, just because like we never cook at home as well. Like my mom doesn't really cook, and I never really did either. And like in Singapore, it's easy to eat out. Like hawkers, food centers, you get food for like $2, $3, $4, and it's like a whole meal. So, and I was always busy, so that's why I never really prepared meat. But I feel like if I had to, I wouldn't. Like,
You wouldn't prepare
I wouldn't prepare meat. I would just be like,
Super
oh,
good
someone
chocolates,
else, please do this.
Yeah, get rid of this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, for me when I was in uni, I was eating meat for a period of time, and then I stopped eating as much because it was expensive and it was hard to prepare. Like, I'll prepare rice, that's fine. And when I graduated, when I was working in a cafe, I would make rice, have avocado, eggs. That's it.
Ooh, yum.
It wasn't because of anything. It was easy to prepare,
Yeah.
right? But I would still eat meat from time to time. Like, if I went out and I didn't bring food, I'll just get something cheap and just eat it. And then recently, I've been eating a lot. It's on and off. When I'm with my family, there's a lot of meat.
Especially Singapore. I'd
Especially
say.
Singapore.
Like Chinese New Year for me was interesting. It was just carbs. I was just eating carbs.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because I don't eat meat anymore, so that's why I was like, there's actually not that many options except for cabbage
Not
soup.
anymore.
What do you mean?
Not anymore. You don't eat meat anymore.
Yeah, at all.
Oh,
For a
shit.
year now.
Oh, cool.
But when it comes to fish, I still eat it here and there, and I used to eat it like I was just full pescatarian. Now it's more towards being full vegetarian, but I'm not that strict because I don't want to tell myself I'm not going to eat this, I'm not allowed to eat this, because then I want to eat even more. So if a shift happens, it happens. If not, then I'm just
organic.
like, oh, whatever.
Let the shift happen organically.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I was having when I was in last few months, I've been struggling a little bit in Sydney, and I've just been going to this place called Lentils as Anything. So it's a community restaurant.
Wow, that sounds so cool.
Yeah, it is.
Community restaurant?
Community restaurant.
What?
So you pay as you wish.
What?
Yeah.
I thought maybe like you all sit around a round table or something and
No,
everyone
everyone
eats next
just
to each
sits-
other.
Yeah, everyone just sits next to each other. If there's an empty space,
You just said, wow!
that's right.
What's it called?
Lentils as Anything.
Oh my god, I want to go there.
It started in Melbourne. There's a couple of restaurants in Melbourne, but then in Sydney they had an open space upstairs.
Wow.
So in the open space, it's where people can organize classes, community events.
Yeah.
Then it's mainly to support people who don't have a job. You know, they can volunteer.
Yeah.
Like yoga teachers, they come in and they're like, oh, I need experience. I'm gonna teach a class, and it's on all on donation basis,
Wow.
right? And
I want to
yeah.
go there. I want to teach a class there. Really? Yeah.
and people,
That's amazing.
and you're not expected to pay, but there's a recommended donation which goes back to the restaurant itself, which is $15, 50
Okay.
Aussie dollars. If you want to pay more, you can. If you pay less, nobody cares. Nobody's watching.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you can pay whatever you want, right?
Wow. So let's say like you have a class that really deeply resonated and connected to you, then you're obviously gonna feel like, okay, since usually it'd be more, I want to give also a bit more. Like that's how I would feel.
Well, it runs on a community aspect.
Yeah.
It you don't really want to be taking advantage of the system as well, because then the whole system collapses.
Yeah.
So you really want to be paying. If you're earning a lot, if you're earning more, you want to pay more, you can, because that's going to go back to wherever is supporting the community.
That's amazing.
Even for food.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can walk in, you can eat, you can leave.
So is it like a buffet or do you order?
You order.
And then it's donation
It's
based.
it's donation basis, and it's vegan. It's a vegan restaurant as well.
Oh my god, I'm so mind blown. Can you imagine something like this in Singapore?
There is.
What?
Like there are Indian restaurants that run on pay as you wish. And then Lakshmi, it's called N Lakshmi.
Where is this?
Where is this? That's somewhere in Clarke Quay, I would imagine.
I've
been there
I
before.
want to go there. I want to go there like tonight. And also the cool thing about being like going to a community restaurant is if you feel like you want to get to know new people, or you feel like you just want to do something different and you just go alone, you're technically not alone. Like you can actually meet new people there, or does that not actually happen there? It does?
Well, usually you sit down and then you're like, hi.
Yeah.
And then you start chatting.
I mean, Australians are anyways really open, right?
Well, it's different. In a restaurant, you have your own little table, your
Yeah.
own little bubble.
Yeah.
But here, because it's community, you sit down. If you choose to talk to someone else, they'll be like, oh, okay, sure. I mean, some people don't. Some people have this thing, right?
Yeah.
But usually, people who go there really often.
Mm-hmm.
So then you start to see familiar faces, and you just talk to people. And you have a bunch of friends that always come.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's hang out. Let's jam upstairs in community space.
Yeah, that's right.
People can just like, is there such thing as open mic there where they can also?
I think so. There's an open mic night. Open mic
Nice.
night. That's right.
I wonder if they have this in Singapore.
What do you mean
generally
open mic? What do you in open mic?
For example, someone is like, I want to sing a song I wrote, or I want to sing a song for you, or I want to tell you guys this story, or I want to share this poem I wrote earlier today.
Right.
Isn't that very cool?
There is an open mic. You can pay for your food in exchange as well, with artwork. If you want to play music, and you play music and you get food. The place is run on a volunteer service.
Wow.
Yeah, so people working there are all volunteers.
Wow.
You volunteer, you get. If you want to get food, you can volunteer for food.
Wow.
Yeah. That's right. So it's like, that's cool.
That's amazing.
And
If you were to dedicate, like, let's say 1 day a week to do volunteering.
you can do it every day.
Yeah, every day, but let's say
Just to
you
get
do
food.
have a normal job.
Oh,
Yeah, you also have a normal job, but then you're like, there's something that's missing in my life, or I want to do something different. Like, I feel like that is something I would do. Just dedicate a whole day, if I, let's say, have a stable job, or if I'm doing something else full time, like studying or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, okay, I want to dedicate 1 day a week to volunteer there just to meet interesting individuals.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Wow, so mind blown.
Yeah, so I was doing when I first went to that place was a couple of years ago, and I was doing an acro class. I was attending my friend's acro class. Okay, this is what was that? I can't remember. Maybe. Yeah, well, maybe I was helping out. I can't remember.
Do you ever remember anything?
I don't know, man. I try not to remember stuff. But I do have a vague impression of what I went there for. I think it was for an acro class. Because I went for an exchange, acro exchange. So in Australia, they have this thing called acro exchange, great acro exchange, where they have jams over the weekend. in different states,
Oh wow.
different major cities, every now and then.
Wow.
Yeah, so I happened to be there in Sydney, and I met this guy who was from Israel. So he's just started doing acro classes and all that. So I was just helping him out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, and I've been teaching there for the last 2 months, 3 months, every Sunday. Yes.
Oh, like you were teaching at the community place? Wow. And how was that? How was your experience? What was the weirdest person you met? Have you ever met like a weird person where you're like fascinated and like interested, but yet you're also like, what is going on right now?
What, when I'm doing or when I'm at Lentils?
Yeah,
or?
yeah.
Oh shit. There's so many weirdos. Like, I'm kind of just used to it right now.
Yeah?
Because when you've been traveling for a lot,
experience?
when you've been traveling a lot, you kind of just that's
That's how they are. Yeah, it's kind of like
I don't know. I think what you're describing would be something that is. Oh, actually, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Share.
No, I don't remember. I don't remember anything about any weirdos. That's the thing.
Are you one yourself? Is
Maybe,
that why?
maybe if I haven't noticed any weirdos, then I am the weirdo. People will notice me. That's right.
Or they don't. That's right. That's so funny. And during acro? Or do you just in general like not even consider anyone weird? To be honest, if I ask myself that question, it's pretty hard to think of someone too.
Because you're weird.
Yeah, I think I'm honestly weird. Weird fuck.
I think, yeah, I think I'm pretty weird. I'm pretty awkward. I think I'm quite socially awkward.
Yeah, really? So actually, first time I met him, it was quite like, no, you were really open. Like, in a way, you were just doing your own thing in your own world. But when you asked me a question, you were actually looking at me. And many people that ask a question, you can tell they're just doing it for the sake of asking, to kind of be like, okay, I'm interested, and then bye, I'm back to my own life. Like,
Right.
that's like how it is usually first impression, until you like spend more time there and then they get to know you. But for you, you were like straight up like asking questions in like I'm not scared to ask you way, and you were actually listening.
This guy's weird.
No, but I appreciated it because it was like, you were one of the first people I ever met when I started acro yoga at like I think my first or second acro jam I went to in my life. And you immediately were like at first you were just doing your own thing, everyone kind of was, and you specifically, I think you were doing the splits or something, just sitting in the splits the whole time, something like that. And then you were like, so asking me questions like, what do you do, or I don't like, and then I said swimming, and then you're like, oh, you're a swimmer too, and then you're like, with Danny, like the whole time, like you both are swimmers, and Danny was like, I'm not a swimmer anymore.
You're not a swimmer anymore.
Yeah, but it's just interesting the way you approached people, or maybe like me, I don't know, because it was just different, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. Yeah. And that fascinated me because it was a different approach. But you were asking because you were genuinely interested. Yeah.
I think I pick up different vibes from different places. I noticed that sometimes like for Human, for example, like when he first came to the gym, it's just the same thing happened. I was doing my own shit. I was doing my own thing. It was just kind of a bit lost because he's only been doing acro with this girl in the climbing gym, common friend. Trying to train him as a base, right?
Yeah,
and then he came to the gym, he's like, because Human's quite introverted.
Yeah. Is he coming tonight?
I don't know, he has a competition.
Oh.
So I'm not sure if he's gonna come.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I just went up and said, oh, do you want to try something? And he just started playing and just hit it off.
Nice.
Yeah.
So he was flying.
He was
his
flying.
first time ever flying?
Maybe not first time, but then probably the most memorable time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
But it's something about about certain people's energy.
Yeah.
Right? I would ask people in general if they want to play, but then that's it. But nothing. Like if I don't click, I don't click.
Yeah.
If I do click, then it's something about them. It's something about that vibe.
I think that's why I love acro so much, because when I first started, I mean, I did take a long break and now I just go sometimes. But what I do appreciate is that you really become aware of someone's vibe. Like, you have to also become really conscious of it because you're literally trusting each other with someone on top and someone on the bottom, and you just have to trust, otherwise there can be injuries. Like, it's normal.
Acro is more fun with teeth, by the way.
Yeah. Not a broken nose or not a broken like spine or something from like falling off wrongly, but that's when you really become aware of people's vibes, and that's what I really like. And when that vibe clicks, it's like instant connection, and it just stays. It just sticks. Like in every other aspect of life, then it's like you're chill always because you've had that connection already.
I see. But people have to want to connect. Like I've played with people who are really good, players who are really good, but I don't connect with them. I play with people who are really bad, and I really like playing with them.
Oh, interesting.
Because you know Wendy, right?
Yeah.
Wendy's one of my favorite people in acro.
Yeah.
When she first started, she was...
Wait, she does like crystal bowl meditation. Yeah, I've been to her classes before.
When she first started, she was like that. But she has really good energy. It's like, she knows that she's not good, so she's... Okay, I'm gonna try some more. Let's do something.
Yeah.
So I'm always quite happy to base or fly on her.
Yeah. I get what you mean.
And even now, she's still an inspiration for me because it like I said, it's the energy and willing to do stuff.
Yeah.
Very light.
Yeah.
Energy. Whereas some people have very heavy, which doesn't suit me. It doesn't mean that they're not good. It just doesn't suit my vibe.
Yeah.
I'm not.
And it's true. Even if they were to be really good, then you'd still rather be like, no. not in a friendly way. Kind of like, okay, I'm busy right now. Like.
yeah. Or sometimes we don't even cross paths.
Yeah.
But then at the jam, it's very different because you have to bring your own energy to the jams, and if you come to the jam expecting people to play with you, then you've got to make sure that you develop that skill so that they want to play with you, and not make it shit. Because some people will be in a jam and they're like, "Oh, play with me." Like, no, I don't really. Because sometimes I'm tired. I just want to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And I just wanna. I don't wanna just play with everyone. Because I have that much energy.
Yeah.
That I have to either recharge from playing with them, or I just don't want to go negative. So I'm like, maybe not. And if they really want to do it, they have to keep pestering me and like, come, let's do something. Then it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But then if people hold it, like they're holding a grudge.
Yeah.
And I start playing with someone else, and like, it's like, oh shit, that's the jam.
I think I'm very naive to such things. Like, I just don't see it, or I shut it out completely. Like, for me, it would only be when someone else would tell me about someone holding a grudge against me or someone else, or if someone directly tells me and is like, like very
but it's a very hard situation. Like it's especially for bases when there's a lot of flyers. Sometimes the flyers don't know, and because it's a social setting.
Yeah.
So in any social setting, it's like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's acro or
that's very true.
Wherever, it's just some people just don't want to do certain stuff with you. Then I can talk to you, but it doesn't mean I want to play or do acro with you. Right?
So
does it make sense?
Yeah, of course.
But then I just want to, if we connect, we connect. If because for some people I don't do acro at all. do massage.
Yeah.
The whole time I'm just doing massage. And I don't play with them, I don't do echo with them. Just massage.
Okay, and beyond this, when I was thinking about like energies connecting and vibes and everything that are connecting and some not. So this is like a topic that I was thinking about last year where I was like, so if a connection is really deep, and would you then say like, okay, this person's my soulmate? Have you ever thought about the word soulmate?
What does it even mean?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking you. If you've ever thought about it, or if you ever like, what does it even?
I think if you understand each other, I think that's it. I don't.
But you know what's interesting?
I don't believe in this soulmate thing.
No, but yeah, that's why it's interesting that your face suddenly went to, what does that mean? Like, what is soulmate? Like, what is this word?
Yeah.
And did you ever think about the fact that it's because of social constructed ideas? Of how that's why we are like, I don't believe in soulmates? But what if you were to redefine it for yourself and actually be like, this is a soul connection? Do you even believe in soul? And like, the fact that you have a soul? Yeah, I'm going ham here. I'm gonna make you think about your whole life, bitch.
I've had this conversation before actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's
Like
do
recently?
you believe
Why'd you get out your stick?
so I can massage. There's a massage jam on tonight, so I'm just starting.
Right. No, I didn't know this was a massage.
Wow, we can.
So, are you getting
what time
like?
is it? What time is it? It's almost 6.
It's 6:20.
It's 6:20. No one's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people usually come late.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, I think there's beauty in believing that there's a soulmate. Right? It's like, there's a soulmate out there. I'm gonna have a soulmate. But then, what if you meet another person that you connect with on the same level with?
Well, then it's another
So
soulmate.
you have soulmates.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
And then at the end of the day, I just believe that everyone's just
Yeah, that's true.
Why do I have to label it as soulmates? Or have you heard of the egg?
The egg?
Yeah, the
No.
cosmic egg.
No. It sounds interesting.
So this guy died, and he went to wherever, heaven, and was talking to God. It's like, oh, where's everyone? There's no one. There's only you. Yeah, there's only you. I'm you, and here we are. So everyone else is also you.
Yeah.
And what if your life is just an endless reincarnation of people from different times in different places?
That's true.
And it's just if I'm
It's all
looking
you.
if I'm looking at you, like I'm looking at myself actually. Okay.
It's an experience. Yeah, it's
Yeah. And
that's
then,
interesting.
and then you start to feel like, okay, what if this person is me? Should I feel compassionate towards this person? Like, what am I actually doing here on Earth?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just experiencing every single person. I like that idea actually. I do like that idea of the story that everyone's just one thing. That's why
I believe that too. Every like we're all the same. Like everyone is literally the same. Like has the same inside of them that belongs. That is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like this table
It's
has
you.
consciousness.
So when you're looking at the table, you're
It's just a
looking at
different
yourself.
expression level of consciousness. Yeah, like I mean, not like that, but
Okay.
but yeah.
Show me how would you look at the table?
It's just like I just have it's like different levels of I believe that everything is consciousness, but on a different level of expression. So that's why objects, then plants, like nature, environment, then animals, humans, like they're just different levels of expression, but in the end we're all one. And
Different versions of yourself.
yeah, and the reason why I was asking you about soulmates is just because we're humans and we like to label things,
Yeah.
which is why you can kind of redefine every single label for yourself. There was one quote that I once heard, and when that really impacted me. So it was like, once a child is taught what a bird is, they will never see a bird again.
They will never see a bird.
Again.
I see. I was reading something yesterday. It's this book called
Go, don't be lazy.
It's called The Pleasure of Finding Things Out.
Oh wow.
Pleasure of Finding Things Out.
Oh, I thought it would be. I think I heard what I wanted to hear.
what?
The pleasure of making things up.
of making up. But
Making things up.
Oh, making. Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So it's like he was talking about when he was younger. He was asking his dad about. There it is. The father said, "Take the children for a walk. Blah blah blah. See that bird. What kind of bird is that?" I haven't the slightest idea what kind of bird it is. He said it's a brown-throated thrush or something. Actually, wait, hang on.
Hang on, so Singlish.
Hang
oh
on,
my God.
No, say hang. Just
Hang on,
hang
Sia.
on. Hang on a little bit. Do you know what that bird is? It's a brown-throated thrush. In Portuguese, it's called this. In Italian, it's called this. In Chinese, it's called this. So he's telling his son about this cup, but in different languages. He's describing different perspectives of why people are calling it this and not describing it as a bird.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah. Before he describes, he tells them the name of the bird before he even starts to explain what it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What also fascinates me is when it comes to different languages, how there are some words in specific languages that exist and in others they don't. Like I thought about the word fun in French because I learned French.
French has no fun.
French has no word for fun. At least that's what I thought. Like think till now
French people
because
are not fun. That's why.
you know what they say. No, I don't know what you say, but no. I can say this because I'm half German, and Germans and French just generally have a grudge against each other.
So Germans have no fun as well?
No, Germans and French like to tease each other, so it's okay for me to
Ah,
say
yeah,
that
yeah.
French have no fun.
The English and the French. Or German as well.
Oh yeah. So I went to a German school, and we would even have German-French bonding days because they would force us, like not force us, well technically, but like in a friendly way, where we do a friendly day where the French school and German school gets together to become friends, and usually it'd be like, oh my God, fucking French.
Do you think if the school didn't have that, then the Germans and the French wouldn't know about any of this?
Wouldn't know about any of what?
Of this grudge thing. Do you know what I mean? Like if I'm friends with you now, right? And we're just friends, and someone has to come along and say, "Oh, we're gonna have a Singaporean and German Friends Day."
Yeah.
Like what? Why?
I
Why
know.
do we need that?
Yeah.
Why can't we just have a Friends Day?
That's true.
Or why can't we just have a day?
Yeah. No, but the reason why is because
I'm gonna celebrate for no reason. Yeah.
it was because of World War I and II. And when it goes back to World War I and II, it's kind of like in our ancestry line where we still feel there's some blockage. And I think that's why they want to enhance friendship. Although often we're just like, okay, the French are coming over, like it's French-German bonding day. But usually we're still in our own like groups. But
in school?
it is a good initiative. Like I have made a couple friends that I would be like, wow, yeah. Like I was like, wow, you're actually cool. Because other than that, we wouldn't really like meet
so
French people.
It's not a French and German friendship day. It's just a gathering.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gathering people to come and hang out. And then you get to know.
But I think there is a day in Germany and France where they actually celebrate friendship for each other's country.
Friendship.
Yeah.
Day.
I think, if I'm not wrong, but they have like German-French Independence Day or something like that, or treaty,
German-French.
freedom, like, yeah, something like that. Yeah, I know what you're trying to do, okay, yeah. No, but it's very interesting.
That's so funny.
Friendship Day, Friendship Day, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah.
It's like China and Japan.
Yeah, there's something there.
That's because of World War II, I think, as well.
Yeah, I did not know that.
I think Japan has a lot of grudges with. Japan has a lot of
Oh, that's
grudges. I
because
think a
of
lot
Germans,
countries-
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All our fault.
Well, I don't understand why. I mean, especially Singapore. Actually, I don't know why people don't hate Germans, but in some countries like China, they hate Japanese more. Like the Japanese didn't start the war, but they were involved in it.
Yeah, more personal to them because like the Germans were
So
collaborating
it's more
with Japanese.
specific.
Yeah. So the Japanese were like mainly in Asia. So they're like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I'm like German.
You get a fuck. You get a fuck. Everybody gets a fuck.
Oh my. Yeah. And now people are talking about World War III, but
That's the Wuhan.
I would say
That's the Wuhan
world-
virus.
uh,
I don't know. Well, it's bad because people everywhere, they, like looking at Chinese people,
it is pretty bad.
it's like a racist thing, but actually it's just because of the virus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good point. Like, if this goes on, it's gonna be like, you're Chinese. Oh my god, let me go away.
It's like in favor of Trump.
Yeah. Oh.
It's bad, man. Maybe
Yeah.
Trump was the one who planted the
Yeah. That's why that just popped up in my head because I actually.
Conspiracy theories now.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Anything's possible out in
Maybe.
the world. No, but the thing is, like, they said the virus comes from like bats eating and all that stuff, where they eat like all
But
these
who's feeding
animals.
the bats?
But the thing is, I just read recently that it's actually not from that.
Where is it from?
Yeah, well, that's the question. Yeah. Oh well, life. We just do. So I just have this theory where I'm just gonna do breath work every morning to strengthen my immune system, so I can fight anything in life. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah, and then go for like 30 seconds, retention, and then.
I've been trying similar stuff as well.
Yeah, you have me.
I've experimented with it for a while because in Systema they had their own breathwork. In Systema we usually exhale to about 30% and we hold it.
Like 30% is left inside, or
Yeah,
30%?
30% left.
Oh, wow.
And then we hold it, and then we feel the tension, we try and relax into the tension. Because the reflex will come, right? And then you just relax into the reflex. And then I've been experimenting with taking big breaths and holding tension. Because when you have a lot of breath, you're holding a lot. And then trying to relax in that state as well. So moving, like if I'm tense somewhere, maybe I can relax a different part. So then it spreads out to the body.
Yeah. That's what I realized too. Like I'm doing Wim Hof every morning. So it's like have you heard of it before? Yeah, so the Iceman came up with this, and he basically can survive in like extreme situations, like in the cold or in the water for longer and all this stuff. And it's because of the breath work he does. And I'm doing it every single day now for literally the whole of January.
Let's see if that's true.
So I started beginning of Jan.
Okay.
And I realized when I would listen to him guiding the breath work, he'd be like, inhale with relaxation and exhale with tension. And usually when you do it the other way around. So when you inhale, that's when you...
Is that it?
Yeah.
It's like a whale. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, basically, that's a good visualization. But yeah, that's a situation. I had to get used to the idea of inhaling with relaxation.
With mouth?
Yeah, so
As
it's
well?
all with mouth, so it's like... And when you inhale 100% and you exhale like 50%. So that's the trick. Like it's kind of like you need to reprogram your mind.
So you're only doing 50%.
50% exhale, 100% inhale.
Yeah, but then if you're only 50% exhale, you've got 50% left inhale. So when the next inhale will be 50%. Does it make sense?
It does, but the way it works is that you inhale from the bottom of your stomach to your chest to your head, and you exhale only with your chest. But then when you inhale again, it's again from the stomach. So I don't really 100% know. I feel like what you said earlier has a lot to do with it because you kind of link your breath with your entire body. So I think you do inhale nearly to 100% again, but that 50% of breath spread to your body or in your cells or something like that. Make sense?
I see.
Oh well, I just do it. I don't really think about it. I'm like, oh my god.
Just try first, right?
Yeah.
And then you just try different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm also experimenting with different like breaths and how to shift. Like,
you would do like a slight change. You'd be like, oh, this is what I get from this, or like, oh,
it's just,
this works for me more, or.
I think because most of the stuff that I'm doing is a lot of exploration. I don't like to stick to a certain system.
Yeah.
I would learn it and I'll try and figure like different ways of doing the thing. Yeah. So even with the breathwork, sometimes it's the systematic breathwork in through the nose, out through the mouth. We were talking about it last night during training. Someone was going back to swim, and he says, "No, you can't use the systematic breathwork in the water because you don't breathe with the nose. Right? Usually when you're swimming, you breathe in with the mouth." And I think Wim Hof is the same thing. I'm not sure if he is doing it on land or he started in the water. If you're in the water, you've got to breathe through your mouth. When you're swimming, do you breathe through your nose when you're swimming?
No, that's not possible.
What?
Yeah, that's not possible because when you swim, there's always splashes and it's inevitable. Then the water will go up to your brain. It feels like your brain is like exploding. That's the feeling when water goes.
Yeah, but when you're breathing in the cold, you usually use your nose because then the air, your nose warms up the air and stuff like that.
Yeah, he actually said do not do it in the water, the Wim Hof, because you can pass out.
Because of the cold?
No, you pass out because of breathing.
Because of what's that called? Hyperventilation.
Yeah.
It's dangerous when you're diving.
Yeah. Do not. Don't even.
It's like shallow water blackouts.
Yeah. Like you just don't realize you just pass out. You're like, and then oh my god. No, I've heard of that. Yeah. I've never been diving though.
Never. Just into the pool.
Yeah. I used to like stay underwater for as long as possible.
The whole night?
Yeah, and I'll go back.
One night? Yeah.
So if it's a 25-meter pool, I'll try and do 2. Just all underwater. I don't know why, but
What's your furthest?
I
like
think.
How you did that half as well.
Yeah. I think it's 60, 70 meters. Yeah. Without breathing. I don't know why I really liked it. Like
Did you do it fast or slow?
It didn't matter because in the end, it's about the meters. It's not about how fast or slow you do it because you need to be smart about it. You can go fast, but then you'll run out of breath faster.
Sometimes if you go fast, you can cover more distance.
That's true. That's why you need to have a balance. You can't go too fast because then you're pressing all the bubbles out from your lungs immediately. That's the thing. When you first start, what people automatically do is when they're gonna go fast, they release all the air from their lungs. But you wanna go fast but still keep it in. So you do need to balance it out a bit. And for me, that was always like really fun. I'd be like, oh, I feel like a mermaid. And
so this is going back to your roots, your swimming.
Yeah. No, but I would still do it. Like even now, if I were to swim, which I haven't done in a while, but if I do, I like to, for some reason, just stay underwater for as long as possible.
I like to go into the bottom.
Yeah, I do, but my ears hurt. I have like really small ear canals, so I get ear infections really fast as well, which is one of the reasons why I also decided that, okay, swimming is not my full-time life career. Yeah, because I would always get ear infections that would really, really hurt. And it's because the doctor also said, like, I would go to doctors and they'd be like, yeah, you have really small canals, so it tends to get stuck. the water in there.
I see.
Yeah, so when I go really deep, that's why I'm not sure about diving for me. I really have to train the air pressing thing, the method, like with the nose.
Do you blow?
I
through your
can't.
nose?
I can't.
I can't do it without.
Blowing?
Not with hands. I don't have to do it with hands.
You can do it without? Wow, I can't do either.
I'm actually I don't know. Let me see this. Okay. This I was in Bali last year or the year before, and we were diving, and my friends were all doing this, like going down. What are they doing?
That'd be me. I'd be like,
I'm
yeah, it's like
confused.
my brain's
I didn't know-
exploding.
Because I didn't know what was happening. I was like, why are they doing that? Because I just went down and I just did stuff. And
Oh, so you can level it by like movements in the throat or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, and then when I came out, I saw them doing it. So I went, oh, I should try that. Oh, I see. That's what they were doing. Because they were trying to, they were trying to get rid of stuff. in the
What
body.
a gift! Oh my gosh, you can just do that? Like, that's one of the main reasons why I'm like, I don't know if I can even dive because my ears are like so sensitive. And I was like, can I even like do that? Get the, what is it? The air pressure out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Equilibrate, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I've learnt it while traveling with my dad on the plane. So it's a skill of quiet, not in the water, but in the plane. Because you've got to equilibrate as well, right? Some people,
Even in a plane, I can't do it.
you can't do it.
No.
You have to do it.
Like, sometimes I would purposely yawn.
Just to get rid of it?
Yeah.
At first I couldn't. When I was younger I couldn't. Then my dad told me to swallow
That sometimes works.
something. And then eventually I think I got too lazy with swallowing. So I just went, I'm doing it now actually. I can hear
Really?
Yeah, I can hear it click.
What?
It's like a little muscle in there.
Can you move your ears? Oh, maybe that's why.
No! Okay.
Maybe that's
Sure.
no. I can't move my ears.
I
I can't move my ears. I don't know how. I can only move my jaw. I don't know what to do. You can just move your ears?
Yeah.
I really wonder if this is like a
I
part of
can
the
do different.
brain. What the? What? And the thing is, when I ask people how do you do it, they're like, I don't know, it's just some muscle. And I'm like, what muscle? And they're like, well, it's somewhere like here or something. And I'm not in control of it. That like actually, I want to be in control of it.
I think you can move the scalp as well. Move the hands.
But that's your eyebrows too.
Yeah, but you feel here. You're moving the whole.
What the fuck's going on?
Did you feel that?
I can only move my eyebrows. That's it. Like.
But did you feel that move?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
But some people can whistle, some people can't.
Whistle. Yeah, you can.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but some people can't.
But that's practice.
Maybe.
Well, I did hear that moving the ear is also practice, but I'm just like, how the fuck is this possible? Where's this muscle that I do not know of?
But it's kind of pointless to do that. It's kind of pointless. It's like a party trick. That's it.
Well, I've also had like a friend who can like roll his tongue like 4 times or 5 times.
I think that's genetics.
No,
Yeah, some people are genetic.
but he taught himself.
I don't know.
No. He would teach himself. He would be like, okay, I really want to do this, and then he'd practice like the 1 roll, and then use his
How many
finger at
rolls can you
first.
do?
I can only do 1. I haven't even done this in a while. Like I had to like remember like what do I have to do again?
Shit.
Right? Yeah. And then like put the finger there and like do 2, and then eventually like get that without needing the finger, and then being like, okay, I'm gonna try 3, and then I was like, wow.
3 fingers. Wow.
No, 3. Ah! But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alright. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys for
This
listening.
episode. This is Naomi here. Hoot.
Hoot.
Like an owl. Hoot.
Yeah, basically.
You can find her on Instagram at
Something. Naomoooooo.
Nani Hoot. You gotta find that spelling out yourself.
Yeah, not Naomoooooo, okay. Yeah, Naomoooooo. That's the wrong name.
Alright, see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.